Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. First off, Sammy Guevara comes out, to get interrupted very quickly. Immediately doesn't even get a word out there, talking about his open challenge, which, I'm all for the TNT title always being this kind of open challenge. Cody set the bar with that for sure. Miro then kind of did a little bit, but Sammy is definitely following suit. Excellent with that open challenge, giving new guys the rubs and all that. But Cody looked for worse for wear, man. It was way worse than I expected. I mean, I don't know how you protect yourself, but that was a pretty brutal. I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys all about that, but that was an absolutely selfless thing to do. Really, and the fans are still, not giving him the love that he deserves. Man, this guy's giving it all for everybody, and I will always be a Cody Rhodes fan no matter what, because you're sacrificing it all. And Sammy Guevara is another one of those guys who sacrifices it all for the fans. So Cody comes in and he's getting that title shot. He's next in line for that TNT title shot once he heals up a little bit. What are your thoughts on this whole Cody Rhodes saga?
Man, I think tonight was really the first time we got to see Cody lean in a little bit. He did. He leaned in. There's definitely moments where he teased walking out the heel entrance. He said some stuff that, okay, he's being patronizing again. Like when we talked about it with QT, where he was almost patronizing QT Marshall when they started their feud. This felt very similar to that tone where he had that patronizing tone to Sammy, and he was like, oh, he called him kid and all that stuff. And Sammy obviously took offense to it as well, the way he reacted. So I think that Cody understands at this point, like, hey, the crowd, no matter what I do, these people are going to boo me. I could throw myself through a burning table and get third-degree burns on my back and arms, and people are going to boo me. So might as well lean into it and just accept it and get those boos. And I think that he did that without changing his character. I think that he did that without not being the Cody Rhodes that he is. I think that's going to work, and that can work, and it'll be something that he can do, and it'll make him an interesting character, because there's not really anybody like that where there's somebody that's going out there acting like a baby face, doing things on purpose to be like, but they're being a heel. He's leaning into it, and I think that that's ultimately where this is going to end up, and that's probably why they're putting him up against Sammy Guevara. If I'm being honest about it, I don't think that you put him against somebody like Sammy, who's a budding young babyface who just won his title, 2 months ago, to have Cody go in there and interrupt his promo, and then obviously Ethan Page got involved, and he interrupted both of them. And so
Dan Lambert's coming back,
and everybody's so excited for Dan Lambert to come back. Poor Dan. Just to get hit again by Jericho. Well, Jericho's not on the show anymore, so he can come back and it's okay. But I don't know, man. It's tough because I think that Cody needs to lean in. I think that he's doing the right thing by not ignoring it and just dealing with it. I think that they're making the right play here, and I hope that part of why he's going to wrestle Sammy is because they understand that. And I think that it'll be a lot of fun because these guys are obviously two of the, Sammy's one of the best young wrestlers on the roster, and Cody's, a Hall of Famer anywhere, because he's, because of his in-ring ability, and, obviously he's, being a Rhodes is a huge thing. Like, you can wrestle in his sleep. So I can't wait for that match. And I'm curious to see where Ethan Page gets involved, because Ethan Page is kind of, he's an outlier here that's looking in, man. Like, what's this guy going to do? Is he going to get involved in their match? Is he going to do something to get himself involved in the feud? He did that tonight a little bit, but I'm curious to see, because, we all love Ethan Page as well. And we're ready to see him take that next step. And we've all talked about him as a potential TNT champion. He'd be great. That would be
for sure
an absolute perfect spot for him right now, even. So I'm down for it. We'll see. What about you, man? I think it's great.
So as I'm listening to you talk about this, do you think Cody Rhodes is going to piggyback on Sammy's babyface popularity and kind of side with him against the Men of the Year and Dan Lambert to try to get that babyface push?
I think he could.
Do you think that could be something that could actually work? Because obviously, like, the Pac and Lucha Brothers things wasn't enough. Going through Fire Table isn't enough. Is pumpkin-headed dipshit Dan Lambert enough to push Cody, for them to cheer Cody? or
Well,
would they cheer Dan?
I definitely feel like Cody's going to try to tie himself to Sammy, and if this
Yeah.
feud becomes a feud, I think that he will tie himself to Sammy Guevara's, face pops.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that Sammy acknowledged tonight, like, hey, like you call me kid, this kind
Right.
of thing. I'm the TNT champ. Um, I think that if he does like try to side with Sammy, I think there could be
Yeah.
some issues between those two, and that would make it even more interesting. If you have issues between Sammy and Cody, that's when you can really get some stuff with Cody, where he can lean in without
Right.
going full heel. He could do that. If Sammy's not being cool with him, then he's justified, right? So there you go. I think that could play out to be a really interesting part of the story, and then kind of have a three-headed monster of a feud with Ethan
True.
Page and American Top Team over here. Sammy Guevara here with Inner Circle, and Cody kind of doing his own thing, but getting the worst crowd reaction out of anybody. I think it'd be great. Make for
It's
interesting
it's
television for
it's
sure.
very compelling, man. The Cody Rhodes saga that we've been following for months and months. It's one that I'm very intrigued with,
Yeah,
and I'm very curious of reading. We're reading the book. I'm curious how this is going to end. You
yeah.
know, and obviously I want it to end with a happy ending. So I'm very curious, man. And there's wheels turning there that they know they're probably 4 or 5 steps ahead of us.
Yeah, oh for
Um,
sure.
and we're just pawns in their game as well.
we're playing to exactly what they want us to do. We have no idea
Exactly.
what's going on, so that's the perfect thing. That's what they want in wrestling, and that's what I want
Exactly.
too. I don't want to know what's going on. I want to know